Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Wing, Artistic Director of the Randall Theater Company, here with this week's Ghostlighting Theater in the Dark on our new day and time, Saturday. I'd like to start this week with an update on where we are with the move out of the Fir St space. It's been a busy, stressful week for sure, but the big stuff has been moved out, lighting pipes have been taken down, and the Randall name has been taken down from the outside of the building. All that's left are a few odds and ends to move. Then comes a deep cleaning and some touch-up painting. And we turn the keys in on Tuesday. And then it's on to the next chapter. So what does that mean for the Randall Theater Company? Well, let's just say that is still a work in progress. We still have a space in downtown Medford that we're hoping to get into. That's honestly not moving as quickly as we would like, but we're still working on it and we have high hopes. So as soon as we have something more concrete, we will let you know. Coming up, the next chapter in our virtual staged reading of Cam Duncan and the Dilemma of the Doctor's Wife. And let me tell you, tonight's story is a big one. But first, as the Randall is working on moving forward, we thought it would be fun to take a look back at some of the great shows from Randall's past. And who better to have as our guide down memory lane than the man who started it all, the founder and first artistic director of the Randall Theater Company, Mr. Robin Downward. What shows in particular stand out for you as being either particularly awesome or particularly
Right. Well, if I look at each, like from 2012 to 2017, if I really think about, earlier days and things that I really look at as things that sort of shot us forward. 2012, we did Of Mice and Men, sort of a change from what we did the first season. That was a wonderful experience. 2012, we did Snoopy. It was my first show directing for the Randall. A lot of people look at, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and even Snoopy or some of these other types of shows where they just call them fluff. Is that I saw in Snoopy a show that actually had conflict. The script was about Snoopy wanting to go out on his own. He was tired of being Charlie Brown's dog, and there's actually some very emotional music in that musical. And so for me, that one I would love to do again at some point. Let's see. 2013 was the first time we did Man of La Mancha. Mm-hmm. And that was a special show because John Cipher, who played, he originated Dr. Croscoe on Broadway. Some people know him from Hill Street Blues as Chief Fletcher Daniels on Hill Street Blues. But he was the understudy for Don Quixote. He was in the original cast as Dr. Croscoe, and he got word that we were doing it. And he came to one of our rehearsals. It was only supposed to be like a 15-minute, hey, how you guys doing? He ended up staying for almost 3 hours, just sitting and talking to everybody about the original musical. It was an incredible experience. It was such a fun experience to be able to, see his excitement about the show and remembering the wonderful things about it. So that really made it special for us. 2014, we did Godspell. You were involved in that. I mean, just talk about a meaningful show. The music is wonderful. It's just a beautiful show. So that one is one of my favorites. 2015, Mystery of Irma Vep. I loved the set. The show was hysterical. We had Jacob Ullman and Vanessa Nowinski in that. In 2016, we had a chorus line and Once Upon a Mattress, two shows that doing a chorus line. It was interesting. Other theaters were going, well, how come we didn't do a chorus line? Well, you didn't do a chorus line. We did a chorus line. That's just a special show because it's about artists being artists and the struggles that they go through. And so that one is a no-brainer. But Once Upon a Mattress, we had the we had the rights to do the musical Pippin. We lost the rights to do the musical Pippin because they decided they wanted to do a tour of it. So we were already 2 weeks into rehearsal, and we needed to completely change the direction of what we had to do. We had to completely recast with the actors we already had, and we're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So we decided on Once Upon a Mattress. Easy music, relatively easy script, but it ended up being a favorite of mine because of the fact that we didn't have a lot of time to put it together. But it just sort of came together on its own, like it was meant to happen. Yeah, 2017 we went to the theater in Jacksonville, and On the Town has always been a favorite movie of mine, and being able to direct it was a lot of fun. One of the first shows we did at the Jacksonville space. Just things that I remember that just sort of projected the theater forward in a way. I mean, there's far more shows that have that. I mean, I could go through each and every show and say why they were special.
Yeah.
But those particular ones were ones that, for one reason or another, just sort of stuck out in my mind personally.
As you may recall, Robin left his role as artistic director in January to focus on his production company, EventWorks. Coming up, I'll be talking with Robin about how the closure of the Fir St space has opened up a new opportunity for him to do what he does best. And it's entertainment that is, well, simply smashing. But right now, after chatting with Robin about some of his favorite shows, we thought it might be fun to check in with some of our Randall actors with this question. Of the roles you have played, what have been some of your favorites?
Dorian Gray is definitely one of my favorites I've ever been. And then another one that's way up there is Bernard Nightingale in Arcadia.
Val in Chorus Line, because she is unafraid of being herself. She's very talented and she knows it, but she's not super cocky about it either. And her song is so much fun. I don't want to talk about Inga.
Well, again, I loved The Man in Blues in the Night because I got to sing my heart out.
One of my favorites of all time is playing the voice of Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors. So I got to use my soul voice, which is a gas. Plus, I didn't have to put on makeup or a costume or anything.
Gideon Hollis from I Take This Man, just because it was my first leading role. So I got to learn a lot about, being a leading person. And is my first really, crazy pants, get to be super weird. And then, of course, basically playing myself, but to a heightened level at Forbidden Broadway.
Well, I really loved playing Scott, like I said, in Evil Dead the musical. That really pushed me as far as being a singer and a dancer. And I always loved he was unnamed, but in the script he is named as Harry Pepper in Barefoot in the Park.
I definitely loved Annie from Evil Dead because she was a Spitfire, and it was nice being that sassy. And Betty in White Christmas because she was a sweetheart.
I've been able to play Henry Jekyll twice. That one is definitely a favorite of mine because of how much work he takes. The other one that I really, really enjoyed was Jesus in Godspell. But it was a very special show and a very special character to play.
I definitely loved playing Pseudolus in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum because it is the kind of just always going, never stop, that kind of just raw enthusiasm. It was so much fun. And to kind of counterpoint that was Harry Watton in Picture of Dorian Gray.
Hi everybody, I am here with Robin Downward, the founder of the Randall Theater Company and also its first artistic director. And we are seated tonight in the original best seat in the house And just to have a little conversation which is something you should do when you're in such a comfy seat. So want to ask Robin, you are moving on from the Randall Theater Company. You were with the company for 11 years, made it really a part of downtown Medford. Now you're moving on to other things. So tell us what is next for Robin Downward.
Well, what is not next for Robin Downward? Taking a little bit of a hiatus from theater, not entertainment, but just from theater for a little while. I've got a business that aside from EventWorks, which is my events production company, which I'm still doing. I started a business, Crunch Time. I wanted to do something fun, and Crunch Time actually is that. It's a combination of rec rooms, or well, some people call them rage rooms, and also escape rooms. So escape rooms, I'm sure people may be familiar with. It's get a group of people, you go in, you solve puzzles to get out of the room in an hour. But I'm taking that to a little different level from the standpoint of a lot more theatrics, a lot more immersion, a lot more adrenaline pumping, sort of like you're in your own adventure movie, Indiana Jones or The Mummy, things like that. So a lot of fun there. And then the rec rooms actually are the opposite side of that coin, where escape rooms are a little more intellectual. Rec rooms, you get in protective gear and you go into a room and you relieve stress by smashing breakable things with sledgehammers and crowbars and things like that. So
Sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
yeah, and who wouldn't need something like that right now? So that I'm doing, and then at some point, I'd like to be able to do a musical. Stepping away from theater, but I mean, if somebody was going to be doing Music Man, I'd probably audition for Harold Hill. That's sort of a dream role of mine. But aside from that, I can't really see myself getting back involved in theater, at least for a while. But I'm still doing some fun entertainment.
The theater has to adapt to the times, and we need to change. Entertainment needs to change, and because people still need it. People still need to be entertained, and so I think both of us are determined to find a way to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely.
Previously on Cam Duncan and the Dilemma of the Doctor's Wife. When prominent Dr. Frank McKenzie is found shot to death in his own office, Police Inspector Albert Locke turns to his good friend and private detective Cam Duncan for help in solving the case.
I'm afraid I got a rather delicate situation on my hands. I hope I can count on your discretion.
The prime suspect is the doctor's wife, Rose.
Mr. Duncan, Cam, you have to believe me. I didn't kill my husband. I loved him.
Despite evidence to the contrary, Inspector Locke seems determined to prove Rose's innocence. Cam can't quite understand why until Locke makes a surprising revelation.
She's my sister. There. Are you happy now? She's my sister.
With this new information, Cam and Inspector Locke start to look for any evidence that could clear Rose. And now, the Randall Theater Company and the Ghostlight Players present Chapter 8 of Cam Duncan and the Dilemma of the Doctor's Wife by Amy Lynn Carter, with Lynn Dutra as Sally O'Brien, Toni Holley as Lucy the Waitress, John Wing as Police Inspector Albert Locke, and David Alonso Rodriguez as Private Detective Cam Duncan.
I spent the next hour or so giving Sally the rundown of what I had just learned about Inspector Locke's relationship to Rose McKenzie. I figured the information would be safe with her. If the guy can't trust the secretary, who can he trust? I had a few hours to kill before meeting Locke at the diner, so I gave Sally the rest of the day off and headed home to freshen up. I got to thinking about Locke and his newfound sister. He was clearly devoted to her and determined to protect her. It certainly explained a lot about his recent behavior, but one question kept nagging at me. Would all that be enough to drive him to murder?
Cam arrives at the diner. He looks around and sees that Locke has not yet arrived, so he takes a seat. Lucy is waiting on another table of diners. She finishes with them and comes to Cam's table.
Back again so soon? You'd better have some money in your pocket this time. Vinny is on the warpath about your tab.
Don't worry, Lucy. I'm meeting Inspector Locke here in a few minutes. This is on his dime.
That cop fella? All right then, you can stay. Coffee while you wait?
Yes, please. You know me too well.
Lucy starts to exit, but is stopped by the sound of the door crashing open. Locke stumbles in. He leans against the door for a moment before slumping to the floor. There is a large blood stain spreading across his chest. He has been shot. Cam rushes to his side.
Albert, what happened? Who did this?
The man outside.
Lucy, call the police and tell them to send the meat wagon.
Lucy rushes out to make the call. Cam takes a quick look outside but doesn't see anyone. He kneels down next to Locke.
Hold on, pal. Help is on the way. What man? Do you know him?
The one outside.
There's no one outside. I just looked.
No. Outside the Doc's office building.
The mystery man. The one with the carpet bag.
Investigation. Getting too close.
He reaches up and grabs Cam's arm.
Rose. You have to. She's in danger.
Lucy returns, carrying some towels.
They're on their way. I thought these might help stop the bleeding.
Thanks, Luce.
Cam holds the towels to Locke's wound. Police and ambulance sirens are heard in the distance. Locke is getting weaker. He tries to speak.
Albert, save your strength. Don't try to talk anymore.
He utters his last word.
Rose.
Locke is gone. Cam stares in disbelief for a moment and then rises.
Stay with him, Luce. I need to use your phone.
Sure, Cam. There's one behind the counter.
Cam rushes to the telephone and dials a number. On the other end of the line, Cam's secretary, Sally.
Hello?
Sally, it's me. I need your help. Do you still have Rose Mackenzie's calling card?
Sure. It's still in the envelope with the money. Cam, what's wrong?
I'm sorry. No time to explain right now. I need Rose Mackenzie's home address.
Hold the line. I'll get it.
There's a moment while Sally gets the card.
Okay, here it is. 722 East Magnolia Drive. Do you want me to meet you there?
No, Sally, absolutely not. I'll tell you everything as soon as I can. For now, just sit tight.
Cam hangs up the phone. The police and ambulance have arrived. Someone has covered Locke's body with a sheet. Cam knows he needs to leave, but he also knows the police will want to question him, and he doesn't have that kind of time if he's to get to Rose Mackenzie. So he turns to the only person in the diner who can help him.
Lucy, I've got to get out of here. Can I use your back door?
Sure, but what's going on?
No time. I've got to go.
He starts to exit and then comes back with one more favor to ask.
I've got to get uptown. In a hurry. Do you think you could...
Lucy digs into her pocket and pulls out a handful of cash.
Here, my tips for the day. Take it.
Thanks, Luce. I owe you. Big time.
Get out of here. I'll keep the cops busy.
Cam exits the diner.
Rose Mackenzie's address was uptown. Way uptown. And I needed to get there fast. It was a risky move leaving the crime scene, but if Rose was in trouble, taking the time to explain that to the cops would have taken too long. I made a quick stop in the office to pick up my .45, then set out to find the nearest cab. I couldn't shake the image of Locke lying there on the diner floor, but I needed to find a way to put it out of my mind. I had no idea what was waiting for me at Rose Mackenzie's place. It didn't take long to find out.
Wow, that's a shocker. Now it's a race against time for our hero Cam Duncan to get to Rose in time. The good news is, he's got till next week to get there. Now last week, you remember that I told you that the Randall Theater Company's improv troupe would be putting on a live show with an actual live audience. That is still happening, so stay tuned for details. We'll let you know when and where as soon as we can. In the meantime, you can be part of the show by submitting a song for our public domain concert series. Just Google up a list of what songs are available. You might be surprised how many familiar ones there are. Then make a video of yourself performing it and send it to kathywing.randalltheater@gmail.com. And if you would like to support the Randall Theater Company with a donation, just go to the link at the bottom of your screen or click the donate button at randalltheater.com. Any amount, large or small, will help us get established in our next location. And if you donate $20 or more, I'll send you one of our two-tone Theater Strong wristbands. And as always, you can catch up on our Ghostlighting shows anytime on the Randall Theater Company Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll see you next time, but until then, we'll keep the ghost light on for you.